Boom! Welcome, fight fans, to another episode of Before the Bald Man Speaks. I'm your host, as always, Andrew, the Clown Kid Lawrence. You can hit me up at Twitter at any time at the Clown Kid. I will not respond to you instantly, but I will respond to you as long as you say something not so dumb. And welcome to a brand new set for Before the Bald Man Speaks. Long-term viewers will know that we really haven't actually changed rooms. We've just gone to another area of the room, and that's about it. We've also tried to improve our audio technology a little bit, so hopefully we can make this a much better viewing experience for all the fans out there. And thank you for sticking with me. We are coming to you live directly after UFC Fight Night. God damn it. It's Fight Night 80. I knew that. Live from Las Vegas, Nevada, from the very fancy Cosmopolitan Hotel. Frequenters of the Las Vegas Strip will know the Cosmopolitan is one of the more fine establishments you can visit on the Strip. Shocking that such a ruthless main event between Rose Namajunas and Paige VanZant had to go down in their lovely showcase room. Here to help me break down all the fights from this fight night is Wesley Colvin. Wesley, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. What's going on, Andrew?
I'm hanging in there, brother. I'm doing really well. I don't know. For me, this kind of was a shocking main event in the fact that it wasn't what I anticipated, but just about as soon as it started happening, I was like, oh, shit, why didn't I think that this was going to happen?
Yeah, I kind of seen it playing out, sort of like that, just not on that brutality scale, I guess. Figured Rose would try to get it to the ground and work for that sub. I'd noticed Paige's takedown defense has been pretty poor since she's got to the UFC. I remember Felice getting her down fairly easy. So yeah, I seen it going like that, but man, she put a beat down on her on the ground, man. Doug Rose is a gangster, man. She's violent. I also think she presents some matchup problems for JJ for sure.
Well, you know what I found very interesting? She throws a jab really well, especially in the earlier rounds. In the later rounds, I think once she realized she could get that body clinch takedown and kind of, almost get lazy trips and take dominant position, and that she could win those grappling exchanges. Like, she was just like, game, let me go do that. But early in the fight, I think what established the tone of the fight was her pumping that jab, and she throws like the 1-1, a double jab, and that second one is really stinging. And it snapped her head back. It snapped Paige VanZant's head back a couple of times, and that's really set the tone of the fight, in my opinion. And then kind of once she got into those grappling positions, in those clinch positions, Paige was really vulnerable. She felt like, there was almost desperation in them, even though it was early in the first round. And when she couldn't get that, it was almost kind of all she wrote. You admire her for being tough, but, but clearly outclassed.
Man, how did her arm not break?
Good Lord.
Jesus, fuck, man.
That was one of the more disgusting armbar attempts that wasn't a finish that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if she didn't have a little damage, maybe some ligament damage or something. But yeah, and I even I put the Colvin curse out there. Said this inside the distance is going to be like the biggest moose ever. Because when she got the first rear naked choke, and it just didn't seem like she had just the muscle to get it, because she had it locked and everything. I don't know, Paige is tough, but she should have got that if she had a little more strength. But yeah,
listen,
yeah.
Thug Rose instantly goes to the top 10 fighter for every gambler out there, because it seemed like everyone in the world was inside the distance on this one. So she made a lot of paydays happen there with fighting for that finish in the fifth.
Yeah, and plus money too was real nice. I mean, she was at like plus 160 a couple of days ago, and if anything, this was a close fight. In hindsight, of course, but this was a close fight. Should have been more close to, maybe where it ended up at. I think she was plus 125, 130, but yeah, that nobody. I don't think too many people saw this type of performance coming.
You know what? Honestly, I was breaking this down. Breaking this down. There's so many good fights this weekend that honestly, like the amount of time I spent breaking this down was very limited. But you think about this fight, I just thought that Paige would be able to put more of a pace on her, and that she would be a lot more of the dominant athlete in the position. Constantly clinging to her. I guess I just didn't realize just how poor her takedown technique was, and I guess, thought that Rose would go onto her back a lot easier and give up that position.
Yeah, and then even when she was in the fight and figured that she can't stop these takedowns, she was still just coming right into her and like she was initiating the them grappling and getting together, and it's like, what are you doing? Like every single time, as soon as they got together, it was a trip takedown, just with ease. So I don't know. And you would think that with the camp that she trains at, that it would be, a little bit better than that. She's training with some killers on the ground and some of the best wrestlers out there. I don't understand it. It was a crazy performance, without a doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, you think that Team Alpha Male would have taught her more, I guess, like straight wrestling and traditional wrestling? I mean, even at the high school level of wrestling, you don't see a lot of, head and arm throws. It's one of those things that when you see in MMA, you kind of see someone like big brothering their opponent. Maybe they do a harsh weight cut and in the cage they really have like a 20-pound advantage. That's when you see a dude throw a guy on a head and arm throw. And she clearly couldn't do that against Rose just because. And a lot of people were saying that Rose was the better athlete in there. I thought that she was the inferior athlete in there, but was just clearly technically superior. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, you would think, that would have been Paige's game, was to use her athleticism and move around the cage, and you look at Rose and, she doesn't look like much, but she's strong. You could see it in that fight. She's strong. She's deceptively strong. She is even without Paige having the technique to stop some of the takedowns, she was tossing her, so yeah, I tweeted it. She was just outclassed. It looked that bad. She was completely outclassed. She's got a lot to work on. Her toughness and heart should take her if she can learn some technique. That is a good sign, I think. She didn't quit at all. But it's not always great in MMA to have be tough and have a big heart. She better.
A lot of people mention that, but I think in the 115-pound women's division, there's just not that much of a worry about, the bad beatings. I mean, I think that at the end of this fight, despite the amount of shots she took, and she took a lot of bad ground and pound, or she took a lot of hard ground and pound, and she took a lot of damage on the feet too. She didn't look, too much worse for wear, as far as not being conscious and aware of her surroundings. She was very bloodied up. That was obvious. Do you think that Paige VanZant's stock goes down incredibly from this fight? And if you do you think, and I think that to some degree, of course, it has to, but do you think because of the nature of how it happened and the visual, her bloodied face for nearly 5 whole rounds, and then, tapping out, exhausted, choked out, do those visuals hurt her kind of mass appeal? Not so much her opinion or the hardcore following's opinion of her, but does this hurt her appeal for the Esquire magazines, for fucking Teen Vogue and all these other things, this mainstream attention that VanZant gets?
Yeah, I wouldn't think so too much. Maybe a little bit for the time being, of course. But she's still really young. She is, she's pretty. There's no doubt about that. She, looks good in front of the camera. So I don't, maybe for the time being, but I don't see her losing all of it. She needs to go. You got to win though, regardless.
Yeah.
If she's not going to win any fights from here on out. And this, which I don't see it happening. Like I said, she's still young. But if for some reason this fight took it out of her and she's just not good for it, yeah, I mean, that's any fighter. I don't care how you look.
But let me ask you this. Does this fight, in your opinion, put a ceiling on her? Do you still see Paige VanZant as, I don't know if you saw this before, but do you view her as a future title contender? Do you think, okay, now that she's been exposed, there's some sort of talent gap here that she's not able to kind of overcome?
Yeah, title contender, saying that's hard. She's still really young, though. Her training at the camp she does and seeing what I see tonight, her having like none of the skills that you think she would learn at that camp, not translating at all tonight in this fight, that's concerning a little bit. I'll say judgment because, like I said, like you said, still the 115-pound women's division. It doesn't take a lot of skills to, win that. There's maybe two or three fighters tops, JJ, Claudia, and then now Rose. I would probably put her there too. So 3 fighters, yeah, I'd never say never, but yeah, tonight is concerning. There's some things I saw tonight that's definitely is concerning.
Yeah, I think there was some definite red flags, and I agree, particularly on the coaching side. But let's focus on the winner for a bit here. Thug Rose, you mentioned it and kind of segued into it beautifully. Do you kind of have to put her in that title talk? If, does she fight one more fight and then get the winner of Gudelia, Jędrzejczyk? Where do you see her going from here?
Well, if JJ is going to be out for a while with her hand, I believe it is, broke her hand again, a number 1 contender fight with Claudia, but Claudia is supposed to get the next title shot. If that's how it goes down, then yeah, of course, Rose should fight the winner. I think she's right.
Do you have her fight a contender fight against someone, or one of these? If you win, you get the shot, but maybe it isn't a contender fight for her opponent, or do you just save her and put her on the shelf for a little bit? Jędrzejczyk's talking about being out, with no contact for another 2 months. Probably takes another fight, 3-4 months after that. Probably fights around the summertime. Early summer?
Yeah, then you'd probably have to do Claudia and Rose, right? I mean, it looked like Claudia, from everything I'm seeing, is she's ready now, and I know she said she wants to wait for, her shot, but that's a while. It's going to be a little while before JJ gets back. So Rose and Claudia, that'd be a good fight too. But I think both Rose and Claudia have the necessary skills to give JJ a problem.
A run, yeah.
Their ground game is very good. So they both present some problems, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that Rose was able to judge distance really well in this fight, and now maybe that's because you're not talking about a really talented striker at all. So maybe JJ will be better at that exchange, but I think it's at least enough so she's not lost in the stand-up. Let's talk about the co-main event a bit, because I was actually really surprised and impressed with Michael Chiesa here. Kind of loses the first round. Almost gave it away a bit, in my opinion. Pours it on in the second, gets a submission. In a card that we had, I think, I have stats here. We had 6 submissions this fight, so half the fights were submissions. He subbed him really quickly in the second round. Michael Chiesa, after the fight, shouted out the media, got in everyone's face, said he's a top 15 fighter. He's not taking any steps backwards. What do you think about Chiesa? You think we're talking about him as a title contender this time next year?
Man, when we talked on Daniel's show, about Cecilia, yeah. And like I said then, I'm a big Chiesa fan. I like his story. Him and Cecilia, I like their story. I like where they're from. They're tough dudes. They fight, but
yeah, I like their approach too, and I like that camp's approach to MMA. But sorry, continue.
Absolutely, but man, I can't see Chiesa being a title contender. I'd like to say maybe a top 10 guy. He has that potential, but there's just I don't know. even in this fight with Miller, he's dominating in positions, and then he's just losing in scrambles that he shouldn't be losing in. I know Jim Miller's a tough guy, and he's great in scrambles and stuff, but he was just giving up these positions. It was just stuff you can't do with top guys. His stand up is still, it has holes in it. But I mean, yeah, top 10 guy, he could beat a few of those guys in that range. But yeah, I just can't see him being anywhere near that top 5 at all.
Yeah, I think that, there's levels to this shit, dog.
Yeah.
Once you get to the top of that 155, it's almost like every 3 positions you're talking about the next echelon, and the difference between being, a 9, 10, 11 guy and being, a 4, 5, 6 guy is almost a world of difference. It's hard. There's just a lot of body types, a lot of different guys. Who can make 155. It seems like every major camp has multiple contenders in the 155-pound division. It's just really hard in the modern MMA landscape to say that Michael Case is going to be a title contender. He is now a legit top 15 guy. For me, a guy like Michael Case, it's all about matchups. Whenever he can get that little grappling edge, or, we'll get someone who's not going to so outclass him on the feet that he won't be able to close the distance, then if he can get a hold of you, he can always make it dirty and scratch out a win. It was shocking to kind of, in my opinion, see him lose to Lausanne. God, I don't even know how long ago that was now. That might have been a year ago. But I think that, we're seeing an evolution in his game. I don't think he'll ever be a great striker, but with the right matchups, he could fly into that top 5. And then, but I don't know. You put someone like a Michael Case against who, like Tony Ferguson? Like, what happens there? No?
Yeah, he's going to get his shit pieced up. He's going to get his takedown stuff, and he's going to get his shit pieced up.
I mean, God damn it. Imagine if even like a Chad Mendes fought Mike Chiesa. You know what I mean? And that's a weight class below.
Yeah.
When we're talking about these elite fighters, you're just like this next level athlete that I'm not sure Michael Chiesa is. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm a super big fan of Mike Chiesa because almost he has, this athletic detriment. He just has this, tough guy nature. I'm not even saying that he's a bad athlete, but, there's these super athletes in this sport now. That's just the reality of the modern game. So, I'm a big fan of Michael Chiesa. I hope he keeps getting great matchups kind of like this that he can, squeak out a win and have, or not even squeak out a win because he really dominated, but, it's a tight matchup and a good matchup because there's grappling exchanges that could have gone either way there.
It was a really good fight. I enjoyed the fight. It was great.
Yeah, no, I ultimately graded that, pretty highly on this. Jim Miller, it almost feels too bad to put a fork in him, but you're looking at the age and you're looking at the losses pile up. What do you think about poor Jim Miller, Jersey's own?
Man, I've watched him for a long time, man.
Yeah.
He's a tough guy, man. He's like Chiesa. He's in that mode. He's just a tough guy. He ain't the most athletic or some super athlete like most of these guys now, but yeah, man, long career. If you can like Jim Miller, like what he stands for, how he fights, dude never turned down a fight, but man, it's getting close. Like even tonight, he was done when he got his back took that second time. He let that choke go. He didn't, it's getting there. It's with Chiesa though. I think even with Miller, he could maybe still stay around 2 or 3 fights. It just depends on the matchup. You got them guys now that are top 15 dudes that need a fight. They still want to fight. Let them fight each other for a little bit. Yeah. The Lausannes, the Millers, those type guys. Let them fight, if they want to.
Yeah, I used to call them, I guess I still could. I used to call them like the Josh Thompsons. They can always kind of hang around if they string 2 or 3 together. They're a big enough name that you could make a title, challenger out of them, even if they're, might not be real competitive in that title fight. There's at least a name value and a fan receptiveness around it. Josh Thompson's kind of decided to go off to the Bellator pastures instead. But yeah, there's a lot of dudes who, the problem with 155 pounds is you're old at 32, man. There's this young crop of just killers coming through. So unless you peaked athletically at 32 and you became one of these elite guys with zero holes in his game, you're kind of just stuck in a limbo, no man's land. You're top 20, top 25, top 15, and you're a gatekeeper. Which isn't a bad thing in this sport. I hate that people have such a negative connotation towards it. You need gatekeepers. Otherwise, how else are we going to get relevant title challengers? How are we going to know who's the real deal and who's not the real deal? We need dudes like Jim Miller occasionally. Do I think he's taking a little bit too much damage? At this point, it's getting there, man. I was watching some of those shots that he took when he rolled for that arm bar, and he took them, but I don't know. The age and the wars, and I've seen that happen a lot. Him take a lot of damage going for a submission that didn't work out for him. So, maybe Jim Miller fights. Again, I don't want to see him fighting young guys, like you said. I want to see him in some classic old-school fights because he's still a little bit of a name to me. I remember seeing him on the main event at the Prudential Center on UFC on Fox, and God, that couldn't have been 3 years ago.
Yeah, he was it wasn't but a few years ago. He actually was headlining and co-main event stuff on the East Coast. He was a pretty big name in Jersey and around that area.
Yeah, I think that might have been a title contender fight. Like, Nick Diaz against him, and I think the winner got the shot against Benson. Maybe it was the fight after or something. But I remember there was like some serious stakes attached to a fight like that. So, it's kind of a testament to how quickly careers can change in the game. All right, Sage Northcutt. Yeah, right. Super Sage Northcutt. I watch a fight like this, and I kind of it kind of clicked in my head. It's like, oh yeah, this still is like a 19-year-old prospect. There's no reason this should be in the MMA in a lot of ways. Yeah, I mean,
he's got so many skills, man. You're right, though. You can just see that he's still, he's so young, man, and about everything he does, the way he talks, everything, he's still so young and naive. But, man, like the choke he got on, it wasn't even that the technique was perfect. He just cranked on it, man. It was the damn pythons on the dude. And just, yeah, but I wasn't too worried when he got taken down. I thought the stand-up was complete bullshit, though. I think on Twitter did. That was just complete bullshit. But I don't think he was going to get pounded out by Pfister.
You give Cody Pfister his fucking 1 round against Sage Northcutt, you asshole ref. God damn it. He got that early takedown. He deserved at least to take a round. You knew it wasn't going well. And you know what? Sage did kind of, close his guard and leech up to him. But God damn it, give the kid the moment in the sun.
Yeah, you got to, man, because I know most people were saying he was going to take him out in under a minute, and, he was going to knock Cody out. And I know Lance was on Twitter, and he's pumped the kid up. If Cody Pfister would have won tonight, I mean, Twitter would have exploded because over the past 2 days with that weigh-in pick, man, I mean, the dude's become Twitter famous in like 24 hours. Cody Pfister.
Not only that, he had the fantastic, embedded series. Watching him do laundry and shit. What a fucking goof, Cody Pfister. I don't want to see Cody Pfister get cut. That's how much joy I got from him this week in the build-up to this fight.
Yeah, keep him around, man. He's good for a couple quotes or something, man.
For a couple laughs, bro.
Hey, man, the guy brings it too, man. I mean, he fucking goes in there and just wings it. It's fucking great,
I'll tell you what. Yeah, that's a kid who isn't scared of being in a fucking fight, right? Jesus Christ. For all of his technical shortcomings and the athletic deficit in this fight, which was enormous. And the size difference, Jesus Christ, that kid didn't give a fuck at all.
Were they the same weight class? That just blows my mind, dude. I have no clue how they are the same fucking weight class.
You can't tell me that Sage doesn't look like a 170er in there.
At
It's
least,
crazy.
yeah,
He's Benson Henderson size,
yeah,
possibly.
that's
Yeah.
insane, man.
Yeah. So, the one of the prospects, survived. So far this weekend that we have like a lot of hype trains running this weekend. We'll see how many more get derailed, or how many get fulfilled like Sage's. Oh yeah, the last or the first fight on the main card, the main card of a fight pass. You have to click a new
What's your
section. So
yeah, switch your streams.
switch your streams. That's how you know this is important.
Shit ever, man. Yeah.
Elias Theodoro, kind of another hype train, a Canadian hype train, fell off the rails here. Something happened in between that first and second round. I think, struggling for those takedowns. He took a couple too many elbows to the head and just decided he wanted nothing of the striking with this, and the only way he was going to win was grappling. What did you see in this fight? Do you agree with me a little bit? Because there clearly was a shift in his approach from the first to the second rounds.
Man, well, coming into it, you got to question. He was in great shape. Like, he's never looked this cut up and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he even said it's the best he's ever trained in his life and stuff. But he used to have, pretty good cardio. He's fought some close fights. I've had some money on him in the past, and he's been in fights closer than he probably should be, but he's always stayed in it. He ain't gassed this bad. Really question him carrying the extra muscle into this fight, because after the first, he started looking bad. And then when he couldn't get the takedowns and started catching them CTEs to the side of the head, it hurt him. And I think he just, with being tired and probably even rocked most of that second round.
Yeah.
He was done. He didn't want nothing by the third, man. And
yeah, and I think that was an accumulation of the body shots too. And I've said it once. I've said it like 1,000 times on this fucking show. It's not always that people are getting gassed. It's that getting beat up is the most exhausting thing in the world. If you've ever been in a real life fight that you got punched in the face more than once, you know that nothing tires you out. Let me punch you in the face 6 times, and I guarantee you by the end of it, you're going to be gasping for breath.
Yeah.
You can sit in that chair. You don't have to move at all. And I punch you 6 times. You're going to be tired.
Yeah.
It's the energy your body's using to try to keep you from slipping into a coma or something. But, there's nothing more exhausting.
Yeah, and then body kicks on top of it. It's like twice. That adds up. It doesn't seem like it in a fight, but
they're the most forgettable things and the most effective things in an MMA fight.
Yeah, like catch a guy like Santos's. Could you imagine catching his leg to your ribs even once? He was landing that body kick, time after time in that fight. And Elias really, I think he probably because he started gassing, but he totally abandoned his game plan after the first. He was was using those front kicks to keep Santos away, was throwing a lot of punches, a lot of jabs. And then in the second, I'm sure it's partly because he gassed. He just completely abandoned that, and it was pushing him up against the cage. But you can't you can't grab a leg and do nothing. Yeah. Now, guys see that the elbow to the side of that head works, man. They see. I can't remember who did it first. Was it Travis Brown or something?
Travis Brown made it famous in my mind.
Yeah, completely just obliterated a guy with one of them. I mean,
Josh Barnett. He blew up Josh Barnett's fucking face.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that shit works, man. You can't dive on a guy's leg and just lay there with your head in his lap. Not in this MMA.
Nah. Now, people are smart now. They use the cage almost as like an extra leg. They lean their weight against it. It's hard to get that takedown against the cage unless you're really crafty and have your technique game on. Elias seemed too hurt to do it or didn't have the strength to do it. Are you ready for a little MMA conspiracy? And then we'll move on to the preliminary card. Elias Theodoro was training with Chris Weidman. They brought him in there as a fucking punching bag, and he was just too beat up. And that's the conspiracies don't stop. All right.
Yeah, it's the camp punching bag. Yeah.
It's the camp punching bag theory, baby. Okay, so let's look at these. Let's look at these undercards. Actually, let's do this. There was a shit ton of finishes. My favorite finish being Kevin Casey with the.
Oh no! Hold up! I'm gonna speak on this shit real fast.
Speak on it.
Where the fuck you are right now, dude? Let me tell you something. Why even show up for the fight if you're gonna be petrified when you step in the fucking cage? You're so.
He looked a little shook.
Yeah, he's so fucking scared. As soon as he laid eyes on the king, you could see it in his eyes. What did he do as soon as he got the chance, dude? Ric Flair fucking eye poke and just took the king out.
Let me say this.
It can't stand, man. Can't stand.
Let me say this. I will give, Antonio Carlos Jr. credit in that he took my advice, and that if you're ever in a bad spot in MMA, cheat and cheat viciously.
Yeah.
I give King Casey props though, because the usual move that fighters do, and it's the stupid one, is to tell them that I'm good and I can see when you can't see, and then you lose the fight.
Yeah, he said, nope, I'm done.
Just be like, nah, dude, I got poked in the eye really bad. Give me the show money. I'll be back in 2 months, dude. I got a full camp in me. I won't have to fight this crazy Brazilian dude who's poking me in the fucking eye. Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, walks out there still an undefeated king, live to fight another that gets paid. I mean, who else make 50 G's or 25 G's in 11 seconds?
Exactly. You want to poke me in the eye for 15 G's? Poke me in the eye for 15 G's.
Make that shit bleed. Yeah.
Oh, it starts getting crazy, right?
Yeah.
All right, poor King Casey. At least this gives him time to, cycle on and cycle off and train for another camp. So we'll see the King back soon, hopefully. A fantastic KO by the Dirty Bird. Let's talk about that.
Man, yeah.
Was that the KO? No, we'll save it to the end. But that was a pretty beautiful thing.
Yeah, Tim Means, man, is on the come up. That's for sure, man. He used to have some pretty bad, he'd get taken down a lot and just get grinded out and lose fights, lose decisions. He's stopping that now, stopping takedowns, and that hook, man. Oh man, that's the kind of stuff when you watch fighting, when you see that kind of stuff, you're like, oh, it just gives you that feeling, man. That was beautiful.
You know what the only thing going against Tim Means is? He's got serious old man body and old man face. He looks weathered, He looks like a man who's never slept indoors in his life.
Yeah.
He looks like the dog that you made sleep in the backyard. You know what I mean? The not indoors dog, Yeah, he's only allowed to go out in the woods.
He's still doing better than Fister. I said tonight, Fister looks like a dude that just walked out of a cave after 10 years. It's like, who wants to fight, You
know what? I'm going to say this. I was absolutely shocked when I watched the Fight Pass Embedded. I saw Cody Fister's house, and I was like, damn, this looks like nice. I mean, it doesn't look nice. I'm saying it looks like, like home goods nice. I was shocked that there was decor and furniture, basically.
Yeah, he's got stuff on.
I was like, holy shit, he has a piece of wall art up. What the fuck is going on here? Does a woman live with Cody Fister? Is there someone taking care of Cody Fister right now, guys? I was absolutely appalled.
Yeah, he's good TV, man. Keep that dude around. Definitely.
Yeah, get him on another show. I just, let's find out about more people in Cody Fister's life. What else do we have? Oh, we had the Brazilian cat, Sergio Moraes, with the late finish. And you know what I love about a finish like this? That dude needed it. He was not going to win this fight and just flurried in the last couple minutes. He could have squeezed out that second round, actually, and maybe have won the third. But, he turned it on in that third round and really put him out. That fight was one of these fights that went from boring as fuck to really interesting in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, really. I actually had it even going into the third, but I had some plus money on Sergio, Moraes. So little biased, but
Bias.
yeah. But yeah, man, ended up turning into a really good fight. I don't think Moraes had ever KO'd anybody in his career, if I'm not mistaken. So it was just, yeah, great finish though, man. And he deserves it, man. How can you not like that dude? Like
Yeah,
everybody.
do you like the happy act? I was pumped for it. He came out there like clapping. He wanted the whole crowd to start clapping with him, and they showed him zero love.
Yeah, I mean it's Vegas at what 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so I mean you can't expect much.
I would have been fucked up in the stands, drunk
Yeah,
off my ass, clapping like a bastard. That's what I
same,
expect.
yeah, same here, definitely.
I would have got a drink at the craps table for free, tried to smuggle it in, despite the protests of everyone, like, all the security guards. I would be the only person drinking straight liquor out of a glass container in the entire stadium, and I would have been amped.
Yeah,
That's just me, though. That's just me. Aljamain Sterling, like an actual real like prospecting contender, fought on this undercard, like an actual person who deserves the hype. Aljamain Sterling, kind of waxed Johnny Eduardo. Johnny Eduardo looked scary for a couple moments there, not just like physically in his face, because he might be one of the more frightening looking human beings ever, but looked like he had something for him. But once Aljamain got that takedown, it was nighty night. How impressive is this performance, and how much percentage wise, how much is he a John Jones? On a John Jones scale of 1 to 100, how many John Jones? If 100 is a John Jones.
there you go that far, but first off, like
Everyone said it. Everyone said it.
Yeah, I think it's more because of the way he looks fighting.
Yeah.
Maybe not the skill level and what he can be, but how he looks. Because he's definitely got the John Jones, the mannerisms.
Got way better hair than John Jones.
Yeah, and a better gold chain too. But yeah, and how is a guy like this? First, he's been begging for a fight for months. Can't even get a fight to begin with. Then he's buried on like the fight. Like this is a legit contender in your organization, who by the way is on the last fight of his contract. Y'all got him buried on. The signs look terrible. Hopefully he's not out of there. I don't see how they can let a fighter like that walk. The signs tonight look kind of terrible, and as far as the fight, man, yeah, he's for real, man. He's got the goods to be one of the guys, man. Definitely got some work to do in the stand-up department for sure. But I like that he uses a lot of kicks and stuff. And then on the ground, man, his ground and pound is ridiculous, man. Like he put a beating on Elgort, and he wasn't getting out from under Sterling either. His top control is very good. He's got a future, man. I think he could be a legit guy. Is it going to be for the UFC, though? It'd be a shame if the UFC let him walk.
Listen, this is what just happened tonight. Aljamain Sterling just got himself paid, and I think he just got himself paid by the UFC. Talking about a 135-pound division. How many real legit contenders are we talking about that we got? We probably got 1, 2, like 2 money fights left. Really, we're gonna do this Cruz favor. We're gonna do this Cruz Dillashaw thing. Either way, we'll see probably a Uriah Faber. Barring his win against who the fuck is Frankie Saenz. We'll see that title fight if they even want to go that route. And then there's just not that many dudes. There just really isn't. And you're talking about a dude who has charisma, a guy with finishing power, and a guy who has a really unique style. And I don't think the talent gap between him and a dude like TJ's all that much. I think that's actually a very interesting matchup, because I was very interested in how Aljamain controlled the distance in these fights. Would I favor Sterling in the fight? Maybe not. I'd have to really think about it, but he is one of those top guys. He laid out a pretty dope promo. He dapped on those fools, Cam Newton style. So if the UFC isn't going to pay him, for sure Bellator is going to give him that check and give him that golden pathway to a title shot there.
Yeah, and he'd be like their champ in a heartbeat. But he'd be a good champ. He'd actually be perfect for Bellator.
Because he wouldn't take a lot of damage in fights and he'd school kids.
Yeah, he'd be perfect. But yeah, the UFC cannot let this kid walk. And like he does, don't get me wrong, he's not Connor or anything on the mic, but he's good. He's better than 99% of the other guys. And it's like Weidman and Rocco, they couldn't sell bread.
Yeah.
He's at least decent on the mic. He's on Twitter, talks a good game on Twitter.
Yeah,
good.
I'm gonna give a wag of the finger to him though, because he, in the middle of his promo, he had a nice little momentum going, and then he gave him the I don't even know what, and then he threw out the line of the I'm an anaconda, I forget. He said something ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm a cobra. I'm an anaconda. I was like, damn. You should have said that and said, I don't even know what to say. You always know what to say. Just say some dumb shit.
Yeah.
Chael is known as a guy who is always great on the microphone. But if you go back to some of those post fights, he's stumbling over some shit. You forget these dudes were just involved in some seriously concussive activities, and then they're out there trying to freestyle some shit talk. You just kind of got to flow and just keep saying shit until something pops out. So, clean that up a little bit, Aljo. But super extra points for dabbing.
You're beautiful, Aljo. You're beautiful.
There's nothing better.
Ain't that like the best corner in
There's nothing better, man.
Listening to Longo and Sarah, they could have their own fucking TV show, dude. I'm telling you, those two need their own TV show.
Yeah, it'd be stupid not to. You could live stream their gym, just sparring sessions at their gym. You don't even show the fights. Just show
those two cornering. Yeah.
Yeah, talking shit.
You're beautiful, Ronnie. You're beautiful, Jelly.
Yeah, there's been nothing but beautiful things happening in Ray Longo Matsura's life. So fantastic for Aljamain Sterling. I think that this is a big move for him. Before that actually was another fight that I liked a real lot. Santiago Ponzinibbio. He fucked up Andreas Stahl. Good lord, a tale of a dude who can strike and a dude who likes turtling up, and apparently it didn't work out for the turtle.
Nah, man, Ponzi scheme, dude. I didn't understand, man. He went up, he got bet up to 220 or 230, and he dropped before the fight. Like there was some serious money came in on Stahl. I didn't understand it. I watched Ponzi on his season of Tough Brazil, man, and he seemed like he had some skills on there. Had some injuries. I believe took a loss somewhere early when he came into the UFC, and it kind of set him back. But yeah, man, and he's huge for that weight class. Striking is on point. It's top notch. Like you said, it looked like a tale of a guy that can strike and one that couldn't. Yeah, I would like to see him get some move up and get some tough fights, because I think he can do something. I think he's got some serious skills for sure.
Yeah, I think you really saw a lot from him this fight. Unfortunately, you just really don't know how good that striking acumen was, because it was him against the heavy bag in a lot of ways. This fight. Yeah, I don't really want to be too offensive to fighters, and I've been trying to not do that so much. But this was really a poor performance from Stahl, just like the wrong game plan. And unfortunately, sometimes you get posted into a fight, much like Paige VanZant, here, just really outclassed against someone who is technically better than you. You put on a good face for a while, but it was almost just a matter of time. You saw it happen. To beat a guy like that, you're going to have to, have head movement, have a good judge of distance. He just didn't have that. He just kind of put up the shell and thought that was defense. I really like Argentina. Ponzinibbio here, I like that there's a cool Argentinian fighter out there speaking Spanish, being all charming and shit. After knocking dudes out, I think it's a good look. It's a good look for MMA becoming street fighter ultimately. You know what I mean? He's from every
Yeah.
country. Ponzinibbio can be that guy from Argentina.
Yeah, he's probably Argentina's greatest fighter, right? I mean,
Which is dope as shit, by the way. I would much.
fucking dude from Argentina.
There's probably tougher 170-pound dudes who are like Americans, but I'd much rather be Ponzinibbio. You run fucking Argentina.
Yeah, could you imagine the Argentina tail that he gets? I mean, Jesus Christ.
He's living the fucking dream. There's 170-pound fucking wrestlers living schmuck lives with like 3 roommates. He's banging 3 Argentinian chicks this week. You know what I mean?
Fucking Ponzi's king.
It's all Ponzi's king. That's the best nickname. That is going down as his official nickname.
Yeah, that's our boy Brian Taschuk. I believe that's.
Oh, of course, Brian. Of course, he came up with that. All right. So Danny Roberts had a first-round armbar, which was, impressive. I guess I don't really know much about his, opponent, but it was dope, and I was like, cool.
Yeah, Nathan Coy. He was on Tough this past cup. The one with the Black Zillions, the camp.
I ain't watching that shit. I ain't watching that shit.
Man, he's just an old. He's done. He was an old can. I will say I was a little impressed with Roberts, though. Being from over there in the UK, they need
with grapple skills.
Yeah, nobody saw him subbing Coy. It was either going to be him knocking him out or Coy laying on him and trying to grind on him for 3 rounds. But yeah, to get that was a decent sub. To get that sub's kind of impressive for a guy from over there. And they need anybody they can get from that part of the world to be any sort of decent fighter.
Yeah.
UFC is, I don't know, it's been I can't remember the last Bisbee, maybe. There hasn't been too many from actually England that's been good in a while. So,
well, that new guy, Tom DeBreeze, or just Tom Breeze, maybe, isn't he British or Scottish? He's from one of those fucking tiny islands that used to be irrelevant.
Well, they got what's his name from Scotland. I think he's pretty decent.
Yeah, that kid who was on a European card last time. What's his name?
Damn, what's his name now?
Fuck his name. Twitter, if hit us up with the name if you want. If you don't, fuck it. But yeah, no, guy secured himself, another payday at the London card. So, God bless him. A tip of the hat to you, Danny Brooks. Nathan Coy, maybe it's time to hang it up now that we've had the UFC run. Felipe Nova forgot to bribe the second judge. So he only got one of those.
Wow.
He only got one of those judges' decisions there.
It was Bird, Adelaide Bird. It was that chick that is
really
fucking got bottle fucking in glasses or some shit because she ain't watching fights. That's for sure.
She just looks at blurs of people and thinks like this blob's moving forward towards this blob. This blob is winning.
Yeah, I mean that shit that changes guys' careers, man.
She's just seeing atoms. You have to understand. She's not looking at this from techniques. She's just seeing is this flesh moving in this direction? Then he's winning. He wants to move his body there, and he did it, so he's winning. He's doing that. He's moving forward. If you can do this, you're winning. I'm winning the fight against you right now, Wes. All right. Yeah. So. Poor Nova, he couldn't kick in the cash to get the second judge to go his way. That's the rub sometimes. Sometimes the Tiger Showman payoff comes in, and that judge, gets a better price. Do you think about anything about? God damn, this dude's name. It's like Zubaria.
Yeah, well, I know people's kind of high on the Russians in general now, and I think both of the ones on this card tonight, they were actually the same guy.
Ooh, Russia.
I mean, they had decent, they all got decent wrestling. Of course, these two did.
Against Philip Nova.
but it's all they did was just bomb right hands. Most of them was just flailing, hitting the air. Even the Nova fight, he was just backing up the whole time, taking his head back, flailing one shot, one punch, throwing one punch at a time. Both of the Russians in these fights. I'm just not so. I bet Nova because of that. I thought the same thing going into this fight. I'm thinking the same thing now. I'm not impressed. Good wrestler, of course, because he's Russian. His stand-up is rudimentary. He does one thing at a time.
You've been GSP'd. We're not impressed with your performance.
I'm not. He won the fight easy, but I wasn't laying 300 on him, minus 300 and something.
Oh, hell no. Yeah, I bet Nova's small, just because I thought he would fucking wrestle and try to do that wrestling thing, but that he did last time. And squeak out a decision like you did now. Press forward. If you'd got a takedown in the second round, I probably would have been cashing money right now. Fuck you, Philip Nova. Damn it.
That's a crazy decision. Yeah, I still can't believe that's the fucking decision.
When you almost take a robbery like that, you're like, damn. Like,
yeah, then you almost like, oh.
I got excited for a second. I was like,
I said that shit.
You want to destroy some man's life so that you can win, maybe a hundo.
Yeah, a couple of yeah.
All right.
Judges are running guys' careers rubber. Fuck, I almost got $200.
Damn, I almost got $200. Oh, fuck this dude's livelihood and all of his children. I need this $200 right now.
I hope you got milk for your baby.
Oh, all right. The curtain jerker here. Last one. Caitlin Curry beat maybe the worst fighter in MMA or in the UFC. Emily Kagan. Good Lord. This is a battle of two bad fighters, and that's that.
Yeah, Kagan's definitely one of the worst. She did look like she was on some roids or something though. Chick had guns on her in the fight.
If you're the worst fighter in the UFC and you're not using steroids, fuck you. Use steroids. Get better.
Yeah, get better. Yeah, she actually was pushing girl up against the cage for like the first round and a half. Then I think like our boy Brad says too, the mom quit happened, and Kagan had the old mom quit happen and said, "Fuck this, I'm out of here."
I've gone back and forth on the mom quit. There's like the mom quit, but some girls get the mom diesel strength, and they do it for the sake of the kids and rip some girl's head off, So the mom quit's backfired on me as well. Yeah,
I could see it. It could happen.
It depends on how motherhood hits them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but poor Kagan just probably shouldn't fight in the UFC. I actually like this Caitlin Curran girl. She's Hawaiian, and I think that's why she kind of gets a pass from me. I always like seeing crazy Hawaiians throw down. I like their style. I mean, shit, I still like Yancy Medeiros, no matter how many times he's fucked things up for me. So, yeah, you're Hawaiian. You get a pass in my book. You won. You get a huge congratulations. And, hopefully you can chip in for that first-class ticket because that flight from Hawaii sucks.
Yeah, could you imagine what she made off fighting? If she had to fly anybody over to the fight, any family members, like her $15,000 check is like done. Well, my family showed up.
Lance Bishop cleared more off this fight than she did.
That rich fucking Jew.
I'm glad we got to throw on some anti-Semitism on this show. All right. So that was the card, man. We're gonna put the bow on it. Give me your performance. Give me your fight of the night first. Joe Silva. You're gonna give two of these fighters. What was the most entertaining fucking fight, bro? This is how Dana White discusses it with Joe Silva. Bro, what was your favorite fucking fight, man?
Scan over this. I guess it probably have to go with the Chiesa fight. I thought they had some good scrambles and stuff, and like the last fight, but that was kind of one-sided at the end. So the Chiesa and Miller fight had some great scrambles on the ground. It was a good fight. Probably my best. I thought they were all like really good fights. Nothing great on the whole card, but everything was like really steady and really good. Thought it was
Yeah.
a great card overall.
I think my fight of the night was clearly King Casey again. No.
King will rise.
Mr. Happy Sergio Moraes against that Russian dude maybe did it. There's a lot of middle of the road fight. Nothing stood out too crazy. I think that Michael Chiesa against Jim Miller was a better nominee. But if I know anything about fucking Dana White and the UFC giving bonuses, I know they fucking gave it to Paige VanZant in this Rose Namajunas bird because they don't want to pay her that much of a locker room bonus. So they're throwing in the fight of the night to save themselves $50K. Give me two performances of the night. It's two people who had a KO or sub. And there was a lot of finishes tonight. Holy shit, I wrote this down. There was 9 finishes tonight, 2 decisions, 1 no contest, 6 subs, 3 KOs. What was your favorite 2?
My top one easy is Dirty Bird. That's as clean as you get. That was sweet. That was
the best. Yeah.
Yeah. I also like that Sage got another finish. I know a lot of people don't like him. I like the kid. I hope he does well. I'd like to see a young dude like that succeed. He seems like a really hard worker. I know people just don't like him because of the look. He seems all wholesome. Maybe he actually is. I mean, maybe he is as good a kid as he acts, but
imagine if he's a virgin.
Nah, he's probably banging more ass than we've ever seen in our lives.
Hypothetical world, if you find out Sage Northcutt is a virgin, do you continue to envy him or do you pity him?
I probably still envy him.
You look like that, man. The future potential so high.
Yeah, you look like that, man. Could you imagine?
The super potential for ass, you were going to lose your virginity to the most beautiful woman.
Yeah, exactly. No way that kid's a virgin. There ain't no fucking way, man.
Yeah, that's brilliant. All right. By the way, I realized today that I liked Sage Northcutt going into this. I realized today that I hate Sage Northcutt. Why? Because you're going to come out to that whack-ass Jesus music. Stop it with this Jesus shit. Don't shout out John 3:16. Stop it with this shit. I don't want to be such a religious hater, but deep down in my heart I really am. So people, I'm sorry if you like Jesus or, whatever God you really like. I really think it's all a little bit silly. Don't be shouting about some, 10,000-year-old book, in encrypted code, oh, by the way, my old-ass book has so many books. There's books inside this book, and inside of it there's a number. And fuck you, stupid. You want to say some shit, say some shit. Don't make me look up some shit on Google, fucking asshole. Don't shout out Jesus, one Sage, and you will instantly become a lot more esteemed in my eyes.
And forget that it's a Jesus song. He stole the fucking song. How about that?
He stole it. Benson had it. Benson went Jesus.
Yeah,
Benson's been out there long enough that I'm willing to almost forgive his Jesusness. I took his Christian spirit on, and I forgave him for liking Jesus so much.
Yeah.
And just because he's dope and he's been in some dope fights, but God damn it, yeah, I just can't respect that fucking shit. You know what I mean? And you know what? If you like Jesus, I'm not even hating on you. Like Jesus, there's plenty of people who are Christian, Catholic, Protestant, whatever the fuck you are, and it makes you a better person. And I know people who are that and are super cool. But Doug, you just beat the fuck out of a human being for money.
Yeah.
Jesus don't love that shit. Jesus is firmly against you beating the shit out of people for money.
Yeah, I'm gonna choke this dude unconscious. Google John 3:16. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah, look at this dead fucking bitch. I'm the fucking man. By the way, Jesus all day.
Yeah. No doubt.
What's going on around here, guys?
Yeah.
Oh fuck, man. How'd we get there? Oh yeah. What are my KOs of the night? I guess I'll give. You know what? Knowing the UFC, they're gonna give Rose the double maybe and hit her up with the hundo G's, just whap, and that would make me super happy if they gave her the performance and the fight of the night combo. I'm going to give Ponzinibbio my KO of the night, and I'm going to throw another one to... I'm going to throw it to Sergio Moraes because he kind of did the come from behind, did it when it needed to get done. Ooh, but Timmy Means' KO is nasty, too. They might give out 4 performances of the nights tonight.
Yeah,
this is one that could do.
There were some good finishes tonight. It was a really good card.
Yeah, overall, I'm looking at the grades I gave out, and, nothing really... There's not super spectacular grades, but everything's above a C. I have one C- in this fight, and it was Felipe Nova, and I wrote D originally and crossed it off. Now that I'm looking at my notes, but yeah, so like everything was above average. Everything was really good. If you had to give it a grade from A to F, what's your grade for the card?
I can give it a solid like B plus. I thought it was right below like a top-notch card, but like I said, I thought it was really steady, and every fight was like there was a couple bad rounds in there. Like the chick fight, there was like a bad round in there,
yeah.
But after that, I mean, I can't really complain. Even the Nova fight, at least the Russian was coming forward throwing bombs the whole time, So it was, solid B plus. I think it was a great start to what should be a crazy 3 days of fights, man.
Yeah, an absolutely crazy weekend. Nothing so crazy that you can't live up to it in the next one. A really smart planning or a really smart job of planning these fight cards out by the UFC. I give the card a B. It definitely helped having, such a high finishing rate in all these fights. We had a lot of different finishes and unexpected stuff. We saw a lot of submissions, and it seems like submissions are getting rarer and rarer in MMA, at least in the high level of MMA. So, that was kind of interesting to see. And, capped it off with really a spectacular, exciting, unexpected main event. So overall, a B for me on this card as well. That'll wrap up for the Baldman Speaks for UFC Fight Night 80. Yeah, it is 80 from Las Vegas, Nevada. Thanks, Wes. Thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate you taking the time and chatting with me about it. Why don't you tell the people where they can find you on social media and all that good shit?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Finally got on here, man. It's always great to talk the fights, man, with y'all on Twitter and shit. That's where you can get me, true UK fan on there. Love to talk the fights and try to bet on them a little bit and not lose all of our money. That's about it.
There it is. Trying to get paid. True UK fan. A thoroughly invested British. Her fan of the United Kingdom.
Hey, when I first got on Twitter, 90% of my followers were from the UK because they thought that's what it was too.
Of course. I read it for a while and then combined it with the soccer tweets, and I pegged you as British for the longest time.
Yeah, as soon as you hear me talk, that goes right out the fucking window.
Yeah, I was like, shit, oh, okay. Yeah, I think I heard you on a podcast, and I was just like, damn, they make Southerners in Britain too? All right, though. Thank you for coming on the show. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the fans out there for tuning in and hanging out with us for a bit. Hope y'all like the new studio, and I'm trying to improve the audio. We got some new mics coming on the way too, so we might even be improving the video, the audio, the whole shit. We're gonna take this fucking show into the next stratosphere of me wasting my money talking to you guys on the internet. Thanks as always for tuning in, and peace out.